What's happening, everybody? I'm Allie Burns from Picks and Parlays, and it's time for another Power Hour. We're going over college football, we're going over pro football, and we're going over to the window to cash some tickets. With me today, I've got Ross Benjamin, our expert handicapper, here to talk a little about New Mexico and UNLV. How's it going today, Ross?
Hey, it's going great. Off to a great start to the football season, Ellie. And a lot of cappers at picksandparlays.net are as well.
Yes, they are. I know that you got started off 13-5 in the NFL, 27-15 in a combined college football and NFL, and then 45-30 over all sports. That's 60%, people. And we've got a great deal happening over at picksandparlays.net right now. It's a 2-capper deal, all right? Pick any 2 of our cappers. You get all their picks for 7 days. You're going to save 50% off, which means it's only $115 out the door. You just got to use this link. It's only available on the Power Hour, picksandparlays.net/double. All right, Ross. So let's get into some New Mexico and UNLV. You know, these guys are in my neck of the woods. We got the Running Rebels minus 14.5. Total on this one's 44. If you told me UNLV was going to be 3-1 this season, I would have called you a liar. I'm so excited about the home team right now. Tell me what you're thinking about this matchup.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ellie. I mean, just a friendly note here. The game goes on Friday, folks, at 11 p.m. Eastern time. So, what's the college football world coming to? UNLV 3-1 and a double-digit favorite. Wow. Against an FBS team. Wow. Anyway, New Mexico coming off a 38-0 loss at LSU. Now, nobody expected the Aggies to walk into Baton Rouge and come out with a win. But, the 38-0 final score doesn't tell it all. They were absolutely atrocious offensively in that game. As a matter of fact, New Mexico State only compiled 88 yards of total offense and averaged exactly 1 yard per offensive play. That's brutal. And that's nothing new for them. If you just count the 3 games they played against FBS opponents this year, New Mexico is averaging just 13 points per contest and 170 yards of total offense per game. Again, all I can use is the word brutal. That's what describes it. UNLV, on the other hand, off a 34-24 win at Utah State, which we both alluded to the fact that they're now 3-1. Even more so, you look at their turnover differential in the start of the season, they're +8 in that department after 4 games. So that certainly played a part in their early success. They have played 3 FBS opponents, and unlike New Mexico State, the Rebels haven't had much difficulty scoring or moving the ball. As a matter of fact, in those 3 games, 35.3 points scored per game and over 400 yards of total offense per contest. This is also a New Mexico team that since October 30th of 2018, which spans 4+ seasons,
4 years, yeah.
1-18 straight up on the road and 4-15 against the spread. Boy, oh boy, I never thought I would say this in all my years of handicapping, especially in my lifetime. But UNLV minus 14.5 over New Mexico is my pick, folks. It's a key number. So I would highly suggest if you don't get 14, you get 14.5. Buy it down to the 14. The juice only counts when you lose, Ellie.
That's just it. And you really do want to prevent those hooks from taking you out. Sometimes they work for you, but most times it seems that they work against you. So they put those on there for a reason, people. All right, so we're rolling with UNLV. People, if you want more of Ross's premium plays, head over to picksandparlays.net. Use that promo code NFL to save 20%. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications. The Power Hour's on every day at 3 p.m. Eastern. Okay, Ross Benjamin, let's move into the NFL. We are talking the Titans at the Colts. Now, this one was a fun one. The Colts was a fun one for me last week because of what I call the law of Ross Benjamin. And that's whenever you have a dog at a +5.5, you take the dog. Now, this worked Cardinals versus Raiders. This worked Colts versus, can't think of who they played, Chiefs. And it worked with the Dolphins versus the Bills. So is this Colts team in the in row for a letdown spot is what I'd like to say, I guess. We've got Colts -3. The total on this one disappeared. It's 42.5. Before we get going, though, let's remind everybody about that deal. 2 cappers for 7 days is 50% off. Pick your 2 favorite cappers on the site. Get 50% off. It's only $115 when you use this link, picksandparlays.net/double. Ross, what are we thinking about the Titans and the Colts?
Just a minor correction, Ellie. The 5 and 5.5, I don't always play that no-brainer. You know what I mean? But you look for reasons to use the dog in that situation. So I can clarify. I know you know that, but just so the viewers know that. Anyway, these teams are off to disappointing 1 and 2 starts, both of them. These 2 teams were heavily favored to contend for an AFC South title at the end of the year. They very well may be, but right now it doesn't look like it. It looks like Jacksonville might be the team to beat the AFC South. Wow, between UNLV and Jacksonville, where are we going in the football world?
I was going to say the same thing.
Anyway, also a battle of 2-star running backs, Derrick Henry from Tennessee and Jonathan Taylor of Indianapolis. I think it all comes down to, to answer your question about the letdown, I think that would be more prevalent if Indianapolis was 2-1 or 3-0 at this point. But they can't afford a letdown at 1-2 and bury themselves at a 1-3 record. Not to say they can't overcome that, but it's least likely to happen.
All right, we have a little freeze here. We're just going to give it a moment. There we go. You're back. Okay, let's keep going.
All right. And whoever has the better running game in this contest will come out on top, in my opinion. Tennessee right now, they're only averaging 94 yards per game rushing and only 3.5 yards per rush. And that's with Derrick Henry in the backfield. Indianapolis defensively has been terrific against the run in their first 3 games, allowing just 77 yards per game and also a mere 2.6 yards per rush. Indianapolis offensively, they're averaging a little over 100 yards a game rushing, not up to their standards. In Tennessee, their rush defense has been horrible over their first 3 games, allowing 145 yards per game and an even more alarming 5.8 yards per rushing attempt. I like Indianapolis' chances of succeeding with their running game much more than I do Tennessee. I like Matt Ryan much more than Ryan Tannehill. I like Indianapolis's wide receivers much more than Tennessee's wide receivers. You guessed it. I like Indianapolis -3 here over the Tennessee Titans.
All right. Feels like kind of an under spot for me, too, with all this run game, ground and pound business, Indy rush defense, all these things. Feels like an under if I had to lean some type of way.
Yeah, it's come down a little bit, too, Ellie. If you look at the total, I believe it came down like 2 points, if I'm not mistaken, from the opener.
I got 44.5 to a 43 is what I'm looking at right now. So, yep, there you have it. All right, Ross, thank you so much for your time. People, find Ross's premium plays over at picksandparlays.net. Use that promo code NFL to save you 20% off. And don't forget to like and subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and check out the Power Hour every Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Thanks so much, Ross.
Thank you for having me, Ellie.
Of course. All right, everybody. Up next, I've got Nick Parsons from the Insiders Room. These guys are always hot. They are super good at betting on football. So let's get right into it. How's it going, Nick Parsons?
Yep, fantastic. Looking forward to, another big week of football action here for sure.
Yes, indeed. And you're going to want some premium plays when we're betting on football this week. Lots going on, and we've got a deal at the site for you. picksandparlays.net/double. That's the link that you want to use. Pick your favorite 2 handicappers, and you're going to get 50% off all of their plays for 7 full days. It's only $115. It's a really good deal, Nick, isn't it?
Absolutely. No, I'm just remarking how incredible I thought that was for sure. So, take advantage of that, everyone.
There are so many cappers at our site that are really, really hot right now, too. So you've got a lot to choose from. Let's dive into this college football matchup. We've got number 8 Kentucky at number 11 Ole Miss. Ole Miss is -6.5. The total's 54.5 on this Saturday game. What do we got going on here, Nick?
Well, yeah, big time SEC matchup, a noon game, both 4-0 heading into this one. The Wildcats, they're 3-1 against the spread. The Rebels, they're just 2-2 against the spread. Kentucky, it's actually looking to make it back-to-back 5-0 starts to open the season. And Ole Miss is looking for its first 5-0 start since 2015. But yeah, dating to last year, Kentucky, Allie, it's been pretty good on the road. It's actually won 4 of its last 6 away from friendly confines. Will Levis, he's been decent for Kentucky so far. He has 1,185 passing yards, 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and then he's complemented by Kavosi Smoke. He has 263 rushing yards and a touchdown as well. But really, when you look at this team, it's been Kentucky's defense, which has been the difference maker in the early going. The unit allows just 272 total yards of offense per game and just 13 points per game. But to move to 5-0 for a second straight year, the Wildcats they're going to have to defeat the Rebels on their own field, and they haven't lost there since October of 2020. And Ole Miss quarterback Jackson Dart, so far he's been also decent. He has 697 passing yards, 5 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. But the Rebels' offensive attack, it obviously revolves around their run game. The average 280 yards per game. Quinshon Judkins, he leads the way with 429 yards and 5 touchdowns. But Ole Miss, it's been fantastic defensively as well. It allows just 318.5 yards per game of offense and only 10 points per game. Now, Kentucky, it does have its running back, Christopher Rodriguez Jr., returning from suspension in this game. So I do understand how, getting some points here would be attractive to some. But I just think the Wildcats offense could take a little bit to get going in this one. And then at that point, I think it's going to be too late. I kind of really like 2 plays here, in fact, Ellie. I think that, both of these teams are going to be running. We're looking at 2 really great defenses. So I'm going to suggest a play on the under in this one. But I also really like the Rebels here. We're not being asked to cover some crazy point spread or anything. I think they can cover this 7 at home. So I'm going to suggest 2 plays. I like the under and I like the home side.
All right. Well, I like a correlated parlay. So well done there, sir. Find Nick Parsons and all of his premium plays over at picksandparlays.net. Use that promo code NFL to save you 20%. And don't forget, like and subscribe. Ring that bell for notifications. The Power Hour is on every Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. You don't want to miss all these free picks. Okay, we're moving into the NFL now. 2 teams that I'm not crazy about. We got the Jags and we got the Eagles here. Eagles are a -6.5. The total is 48 on this one. Nick, what do you got for me here?
So after 3 weeks, when I look at these 2 teams, I'm actually a little bit surprised about both of them. And in fact, I would probably be a little bit more surprised or a little less surprised if they came in with losing records at this point, but that's obviously not the case. Jacksonville is 2-1 straight up. It's 2-1 against the spread as well. It destroyed the Chargers 38-10 last weekend on the road. So I don't think that Trevor Lawrence is going to be intimidated here coming into Philadelphia. He's loving the way things are going. Jacksonville actually averages 28 points per game right now. That's 10th or 7th overall. They're averaging 123.3 yards rushing. That ranks 10th, and 252.3 yards passing. That also ranks 10th. Philadelphia, but it's 3-0 straight up, and it's 2-1 against the spread. And now, I mean, everyone, all the talking heads out there believe that Philadelphia is now the team to beat in the NFC. It averages 28.7 points per game, which is 5th overall, 296.7 yards per game passing. That ranks 3rd, 153 yards rushing. That's 7th. Now, there's lots of different storylines in this game. One of them, of course, Doug Peterson returns to his old stomping grounds. He'll be looking for the upset here with Lawrence. And Lawrence, he's done really well underneath his new coach. He has 772 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, just 1 interception. James Robinson leads the way on the ground with 230 rushing yards. Now, last week, the Eagles, they totally dominated Carson Wentz and the Commanders. Hurts, he's been great so far this year. He has 916 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, but he also has 167 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. Miles Sanders, though, leads the rushing attack with 222 yards rushing so far. But yeah, this is a really interesting matchup, obviously, because Jacksonville clearly looks a lot better underneath Peterson. The Jaguars, the Eagles. I mean, they're arguably the best team in the league right now. But for me, all of that said, I do think the Eagles are the correct play here. Next week, Jacksonville returns home to play Houston. So that's sort of a gimme that they can look forward, knowing that they're going to do well in that one. Philadelphia hits the road for a game in Arizona after this. So I just think Philadelphia buckles down here and gets the job done at home. I'm rolling with Philly.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. I don't want to overreact to the Jaguars beating a beat up Chargers team that didn't have Justin on it. That to me
exactly.
is, I mean, 38-10 looks like a big deal, but who are you playing against, really? So for me, I don't want to overreact. I think you're right. Eagles at home. Although the line, it did open at a 7. I see it coming down, but I mean, at least now I don't have to buy any hooks when it goes the other way or something, I guess.
That's right.
So we're going to play it this way. People at home, if you're looking for more premium plays from the Insiders Room, they're over at picksandparlays.net. And we've got a really, really special deal going on. Pick any of our 2 picksandparlays.net handicappers and get every single one of their picks for 7 days at 50% off. That's only $115. All you got to do is type in picksandparlays.net/double. Don't forget, like and subscribe, ring that bell for notifications, and join us on the Power Hour every Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Nick Parsons, thank you so much for joining us. Guys, check out the Insiders Room Discord if you can as well. Lots of great cappers on that site. Thanks so much, Nick.
Thanks, Allie.
Okay, everybody. Up next, I've got the big boss. I've got Craig Trapp. We've saved the best for last here. Craig, how's it going, friend?
I'm pretty excited. Tuesdays, I always say in football season before basketball and hockey start back up as we're winding down baseball, it's that anticipation for Thursday night. It's like we only got 1 more, 2 more. Okay, we're almost there.
Yes. I can't wait for MACtion to start. I'm ready for Wednesday football to come back.
Sunbelt and MAC action on Tuesdays are Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Some of my favorite things. The only thing on the board a lot of times, and I'm super excited for it to get back going. I think it's 2 weeks away, I believe.
Yeah, they let baseball get through a little bit before they get it going. So, Craig, great deal that you've come up with over here at picksandparlays.net. Any 2 cappers for 7 full days is just $115. Now, we've got a lot of cappers on the site that will put out 20 plays a day. We've got some pretty big, like high volume cappers. Sean Higgs, the Earl Sports Bets, those guys. I mean, you could really be getting quite a lot of picks for a very low number here.
Yeah, like 50. I would say if you're picking pretty much any 2 cappers, you're getting 50 to 100 plays, depending on which time of year it is. But right now, probably 50, 55, 60 plays minimum. And like you said, if you pick some of the higher volume guys, you could probably get 100 plus.
Yes. Love that deal. Okay, so let's get rolling here. We've got Michigan at Iowa. Michigan's minus 10.5, and I know that they screwed a lot of people up last week. Total on this one's a 42. What are we looking at for this one?
Well, you see Michigan, last week was really their first, not really, it was their first test. Didn't really look so good. It looked good early. Then they looked terrible for basically second, third, and half of the fourth, and then kind of, pulled away in the fourth. Iowa, on the other hand, has been tested. I mean, they have played a much tougher schedule. I won't say it's always good. I mean, they swept squeaked by early, lost to their rival Iowa State. I think it's a tough spot for Iowa. I mean, it's a lot of points, though. 10.5 on the road. Michigan, first game on the road. I mean, that's like, to me, I just think sounds trouble. So to me, Allie, I don't know about you, I don't like laying 10.5 points on the road unless I know the team is proven. And this Michigan team is not proven. First road game, and really, I mean, they played Maryland last week, but Maryland doesn't have the type of talent to really stack up to Michigan. I think Iowa has a lot more of those inside, defensive and offensive line. So to me, I'm looking at the total, and I think you have to look at the under. Anytime you look at an Iowa game, you got to think under. You see Michigan. Michigan kind of plays Iowa style. I don't know about if you've watched a lot of these games so far, Allie, but these Michigan team, they want to run the ball. I mean, they want to run the ball, win with their defense. I think you play under here. I don't even think it gets close. I think this one goes way under. I'm thinking this is in the low 30s. Iowa knows if they let Michigan, what they've done so far, get in the 30s and 40s, this game will be over by half.
Ooh, okay. So we're going to roll with the under 42 in this one. People, don't forget, like and subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. We do the Power Hour every Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And if you're looking for Craig Trapp's premium plays, his best bets, head over to picksandparlays.net. You can either use that promo we were giving you with the /double where you get your 2 cappers. There it is right there. Or you could just use the promo code NFL and save yourself 20% off of all of Craig's best bets. Okay, so into the NFL, we're going to roll with Craig Trapp. We're talking the Seahawks at the Lions. I'm a big Seahawks lover. I'm a Lions lover. We got the Lions at a -5. That looks crazy to me. Lions is a 5-point favorite. That's happening right now. This is real life. The total on this one is a 50. Let's go, Craig Trapp. I've been cashing on those Lions all season long. How about you?
Yeah, 3-0 against the spread. How about that? Really, to be very honest, they're 1-2. This team probably should be at worst 2-1. Could easily be 3-0. I mean, and in 4 games, could you ever imagine a place in the world where the Detroit Lions would be favored twice? 2 out of 4 games are going to be favored twice. And they won. The one win was when they were favored. Detroit, Lenny, I know you're listening. Your Lions have turned the page. We talked about it in the offseason. We said this team had the talent. The defense is still behind. Let's be very honest. I mean, this defense, they're going to have to outscore people. They're going to give up in the middle to high 20s every game, I'm guessing, this year. Can they outscore people? So far, like they've let themselves just down. But Allie, I think you have to say Detroit. I had the over win total. Unless injuries on that offense, this team is going over. St. Brown, that receiver, is amazing. I think if he didn't get banged up last week, they'd probably win that game. So I would take the Lions -5 here. Seattle they won that opening game. People got all excited, but like don't overthink it. They got up because when someone tells you you're not good enough, which is what Russell Wilson basically did when on the way out the door was, hey, the guys we have, the coaching, the ownership isn't good enough to get me over the hump anymore. Seattle had all off season. Since then, they haven't done much. That offense has been up and down. The defense really hasn't been as good. I don't think they can slow down Detroit. Also, don't forget, West Coast teams going to the East Coast playing at 1:00. Never something I want to do. The Lions score 40. Obviously, Detroit Lenny is listening in.
It's clearly producing this video right here.
But I think you take every Lions game this year, I'm taking the over. I'm just going to say, put it in my parlays, taking the over, and I'm also taking the Lions in the spot -5. I don't know if we'll see Lions as a more than a 3-point favorite rest of the year. So this might be your only chance to get in on that.
All right, well, let's do it. Go Lions. I don't know. Detroit Lenny's not going to know how to act if the Lions are successful. I mean, what's he going to do with his life? He can't just mope around anymore because
let's be honest. He'll still
going to be on the
Tigers.
winning side of things, Lenny.
He'll always have the Tigers, and they're going to stink forever.
True.
It seems like. So it's like, he'll always be like, have that team, and look like the Pistons are going to be better too. So Detroit, the city of Detroit, starting to turn things around.
There is a crazy trend that every time the Avalanche have won the Stanley Cup, the very next year the Red Wings win the Stanley Cup. I know that's a very, very long shot, but it
would be a long shot this year, yes.
A couple bucks.
I could see Lenny in the background shaking his head.
Yeah, yes. He's got a big Detroit sports trip planned very, very soon. So don't forget, guys, any 2 cappers on the picksandparlays.net site for 7 full days of all of their picks. We're talking around 50 plus picks here for a full week. It's $115. That's in and out the door. Just go to picksandparlays.net/double. That's how we're going to do it. Everybody hit that like button, subscribe to the show. We do this show every Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, so you don't want to miss out on any of our free picks. Lots of value. Craig Trapp, always great to see you. Thanks so much for coming on the Power Hour.